I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because He helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho.
It's
Yes.
the O
He
dot
helped
N
Daniel
dot
get
E
out the
dot
lion's
period.
den. He helped Gilligan get off the island.
Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to the children? Why you lying to the children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been to bed. Man, they know contest. Yahuwah, he do the bled. We will not see you tomorrow. Cause you cannot go to thought. All the sons and all the daughters. Standing all with big manodas. But my son, he made me Taurus. On that line, I'm still a Taurus. Karate kicking Chuck Norris, 4-5 on my waist. If he started, would not hesitate to get retarded. Oh lordy, he ain't got a PowerPoint, he forest. He's running to the hills like a Philistine. Jihad hitting Hamites with the guillotine. Situation turned up with the ratchet team. JJ 7000 to the debate league. I know them haters gon' hate me, but he won't debate me. Pistol off safety. He respond, come wake me. If I don't get up, nigga shake me. If he don't show up, then he fake G. I touch down and make these nigga nuts hate me. Dear brother. Ballin' and crawling all the way from H-Time. Let me get straight to the business. Man, them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? You gon' cry, you gon' get it. Me, I'm like a frog, nigga, ribbit. Of course, it's in the spirit. I just got the Porsche, she can steer it. Mito got the raw, shack and will it. Lamborghini doors, you better not spill it. Mama's high, say I'm more than just a villain. Mama's cry, arms open wide for her children. Suicide, immortalized as the realest, yeah. Death by cop, black suicide. Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been there. Man, they know contest. Yahuwah, he do the bled. Wow, what's that? Why didn't they take it over? Number one debate league, you heard me? When it's up, it's stuck. You stepping on everything, nigga. Metaphorically, of course.
Well, all right. Once again, putting it down for you and yours. This is another episode of The Lion's Den. The segment title, The Conversation Continues, talking about what's on your mind, and we're your host, the one and only, the seventh answer, Sister Karima. And I am Big Brother, Baby Hebrew, Brother Mala Akaya. And of course, you know, Yeshaya Dah, he's on hiatus. But in the meantime, in between time, you're still in good hands with a dynamic duo. You know what I'm saying? For reals. And from city to city and state to state without no follow, bloops, and blunders. When you tune into the Lion's Den, you're going to experience miracles and wonders. And we give an honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. And of course, when you roll with the Lion's Den, you're rolling with the formula, the 7 I's. And that's intelligence, integrity, inspiration, influence, independence, insight, and information, as we bring you nothing but the facts. That's FACTS. That's frequently accurate, correct truths. And of course, when you roll with the lions, you're rolling with the pride, because we're always permanently ready in destroying evil, starting with our own. And of course, you know, we're one of the many factions of the anti-coon movement. And what's a coon? A complete, obvious, obedient, Yes, a boss nigga. No buck dancing, no sambo, and no handkerchief head, no bed winching. None of that over here exist. We stand as men and women dedicated to the truth, the whole truth, and but the biblical truth without giving you a sermon, though. You know? And also, this is the home of point counterpoint. Sometimes we may not see eye to eye, and we may have differences of opinion. So we go into point counterpoint, which is another way of saying debate. And it's healthy. It's a great way to stay mentally accurate and on point. It keeps everybody honest and on their toes. And of course, hold on. And of course, when you tune into the Lion's Den, you've now entered the ultimate truthality social media platform. All right? Let's understand that. And we come in the spirit of Isaiah 41, 21 through 24, which tells us to be ready to produce our cause. And we bring forth our strong pieces of evidence in every way, shape, or form. Also understand that we come in the spirit of 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21. Because why? We are always ready to prove all the things that we say, and we want you to hold fast to what we say because it's good. And of course, now, the seventh answer and myself, along with JT Raw, we always come with what? Virgo energy. Yeah, we're analytical, we're political, we're critical, but we always strive never to be hypocritical. And of course, now, as always, I put this out here. If you are allergic to the truth, if you can't handle the facts, if you can't roll with the truthality, social media platform, the Lion's Den, well, the seventh answer and myself, we extend to you always our deepest empathies and sympathies, because we ain't gonna compromise it for nobody. So you can skedaddle, get up out of here, leave. You won't be missed, I assure you. And last but not least, observe this house rule set forth by our other lioness, beautiful lioness, I am Manna. When you come into the lion's den, be warned. Wipe your feet, you mind your manners, conduct yourself in an orderly manner, and enjoy yourself. Because if you get out of pocket at any given time, well, the seventh answer, she's going to kick you up out of here. And there'll be nothing I can say or do about it. Except go, ah. But on a serious note, though, it's like this. We always strive to be hospitable hosts. So we're not going to tolerate rude guests. And so, with all the formalities now out the way, I've now been given by the seventh answer clearance to take off on runway 3, straight harmony. Ding, ding, ding. And as we take flight, buckle up, brace yourself. Because tonight we're going to be tick, 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 boom, anarchy. Yo, it is going down in Chicago, y'all. Oh, Christ said it best that you should hear wars, rumors of wars. You shall see tumults and outbursts of the people. Biblical prophecy rolling along. And if you recall, just a couple of episodes ago, the seventh answer, she laid down the fact what was going to be popping off real soon, in her prophetess visionary self. You recall she did say that we're going to find out that the real target of Ice Baby is really we Judah, Black Americans, and now it's all coming into play. All right? So, I'm not surprised, but still, it's going down. All right, please understand that now, after Stephen Miller, the whole Charlie Kirk, that Klan rally, and that Stephen Miller dude, you are nothing, and you've unleashed the dragon. Well, now we are seeing the actual target of that entire, removal of illegal immigrants. I mean, I already knew it, had a good idea, but now it's being shown and being seen. Okay? There's a lot of things about to erupt in this country, nonstop, bar none. But again, the Bible said it was going to be this way. And for all you non-Bible believers that you're now tuning in, I know some of you out there more and more and more, you blowing the dust off your Bible and you starting to pay more and more attention too. Because you know why? Listen, it's got to be this way. And anarchy is about to hit this country full blast. See, listen, there are factions in white America, they don't want to give up their power. They don't want to give up the seat of authority that they've been given for a dispensation of time. But look, face it, y'all. Our captivity, our time, a curse from the Lord, is now up. And he's coming to reclaim us. But in the prelude, we're going to take back our freedom. See what's going on in Chicago? They're right now, not only are they hitting alleged or supposed or actual illegal immigrants, they're hitting Black Americans. They're hitting us now. Okay? And they know what they're doing. All right? They know what they're doing. All right? And see, you out there, all y'all, before you go blaming Donald Trump, because yeah, Trump is indeed, along with Elon Nazi Musk, okay, Kill Bill Gates, and all the rest of these Nazi Gestapo creeps. Yeah, he's at the forefront of all this, but blame your Democrat buddies. For some of you black folks who always voted Democrat, blame your Democrat buddies, your Barack Obama, your Joe Biden, your Wild Bill Clinton, all right, and all the other Democrats who put this whole thing in motion. See, don't forget that it was Joe Biden, your Democrat buddy, all right, Barack Obama, who put all this in play. They dumped all these illegal immigrants all up in our goddamn neighborhoods and everything else. I don't mean to cuss. I lost control. Let me go. Carlton Banks. They dumped these illegal immigrants in our gosh darn neighborhood, knowing what they were doing. But now it's all backfiring. See, understand, the Democrats understood that because you had so many black folks demanding reparations, not taking no for an answer, 10 million or more black folks allegedly walked away from the Democratic Party. Well, now you got anarchy. Now you have a problem. Because now those entitled illegal immigrants, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. Okay? But so you dump them in our neighborhood, and now here it is, right? You want to attack us right along with them. Well, okay, fine. Bring it. I'm to the point now, look, if I live, I live. If I die, I die. But we cannot go on with these people at the damn helm of rulership. I'm past tired of these troglodytes. I'm past tired of them. You do what? You got black fatigue. We got white fatigue too. And I'm gonna put them straight like that. All you bigoted, racist, Charlie Kirk types, all you freaking KKK, all you John Birch Society, white wolves, and all the other neo-Nazi, we're tired of you too. We're tired of you also. We're gonna match your energy. In this battlefield, and on this battlefield, in this spiritual battle, in this spiritual Armageddon, tick, 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 boom, you about to see something. Yeah, you may have your technological wonders, and it seems like the Lord is taking his sweet time, really putting things into motion, into action. But yo, understand this. Also, yeah, ICE is coming down hard in Chicago, but you know what? It seemed like those two dudes who put out a video a couple of months back saying, yo, if you come down here in Chicago with that, you're going to have a problem on your hands. Well, they look like they're not playing. There are some J kicking ass and taking no prisoners and fighting back. But the Most High said it was going to be this way. See, this is no longer a political problem. This is no longer a social problem. This is a spiritual problem. It's been a spiritual problem, but now more than ever. So I'm not going to we're not going to haul here on the conversation continues, the Lions. Then we're going to tell you straight up and down, look, Esau, you bringing it? Okay, now it's about to be brought back on you. It's not going to be a one-sided affair. And you best believe, right, that the same way Egypt, Rome, Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, and all other wicked world empires that stood before, so shall now this world power, this final beast, be taken out. Whether you believe it or not, or want to deal with it or not. Because now y'all bringing it. And see, now that man of perdition, like the Bible said, that man of hell is now revealing himself. And for those of you out there that still want to be pretend you can't see it, okay, go ahead. Fine. You want to pretend that you don't understand what's happening right before your very eyes? Fine. Because all the unfaithful, as the Bible said, shall, not might, not maybe, shall die in their unfaithfulness. That's fine. But we're going to call it like it is. We're going to see, and we're now seeing that, hey, Armageddon is now in full swing. Now we definitely getting ready to go into a lockdown. We're going to go into every kind of down you can think of. Because these fools don't want to give, they don't want to give it up. They don't want to give this up. They really think everything belongs to them. No, it don't. No, it does not. But you cannot save a world destined to die. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So tick, 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 boom. A civil war is now in full sway. A race war is coming behind that. It's been that, but I'm talking about where now it's gonna be an even playing field. See, for years we've been watching you all mount your offensive. We understood that you closing down all the big department stores, all in the black neighborhoods. We understood what that was about. You know, when you start this, you know, we understood the whole King Alfred plan, where you built all these storage facilities and not everybody moving. Yeah, you think you're gonna warehouse, and put people there, dead bodies? I got it. We got you. But please, again, understand that as you push this, Mr. Trump, and those who are listening to this broadcast, please, the God of Israel, Yahweh, no, not Ahaya, not Yah, not just Yah, just Yahweh, I am that I am, the one true God, is not letting it be known. Let his people go, that we may serve him. And since you're going to harden your hearts, you want to be a bitch about everything, okay, fine. He going to match it. He going to match your energy. And he going to show you. He don't kiss behind, he kicks it. But see, this is why he putting the spirit on his warriors now. See, like I said, it can't come fast enough for my taste. I can be honest about it. But still, fishing season is now over and hunting season is in full effect. Okay, you want to take away health care. You want to take away all the necessary things that we need to make our lives easier. You go ahead, do that. No one can stop you at this present moment. Go ahead. But the trap you land for us, the one you're going to fall in. And no matter what your technological constructions you have going on, no matter your technological weapons in war, yeah, okay, you have all that in sway, but understand this here, even that is not going to stop the spirit of determination and focus. It's not going to be a one-sided affair. What's happening in Chicago, we know now going to pop off in Memphis. It's going to pop off in New York City. It's going to pop off in Philadelphia. We know how New Jersey, as we understand what you're doing. We understand that biblical prophecy said you were going to make war with that the great dragon will make war with the children of the Lord. Okay, come on, bring it. Because this is only going to speed up prophecy more. And like I said, I'm tired. No more appeals to reason. No more appeals to, because you can't reason with a beast. Hey, you have all these white men crashing out up here, kidnapping or entrapping black women, chopping them into pieces. And for you sisters out there, hey, you all better, all you swirlers out there, male and female, you better start reconsidering what you're dealing with. It speaks volume when you have white women now making videos talking about how they feel safer with black men versus being around their own white men. Now check that out. You have some of you brothers and sisters with this ridiculous notion of you want to be a passport bro. You want to seek love from some other woman of another nation. And you have some of you black women out there, you want to talk about, oh, you want to seek love from a white man. Well, Sade Robinson and I guess, what's her name again? Rania Lewis should be. And along with other black women out here getting murdered by their white spouses, their white lovers, and some black men getting killed by some of their white women, maybe that should be a wake-up call to you. You need to give very careful consideration of what you say. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. See, I don't care what we go through, black woman. Ain't no other woman on this planet can love me the way my black woman can love me. And I'm not gonna have no government. I'm not gonna have no damn what they call them again, these match.coms or any other system tell me that that Becky, who was she, or whatever, can love me better than get out of my face. That's a lie, and And I am not going to fall for it at all. So tick, 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 boom. Let the anarchy, let it come. All right, they're out there in Chicago, allegedly, I say allegedly, but then again, there are people out there with boots on the ground. They're snatching up black children and putting them in zip ties. Yo, don't this sound like slavery all over again? Don't that sound like how when these Europeans came to Africa and the African tribes had Israel gaffled up and snatched up and the slave trade and all? Doesn't this sound like that again? This is not new to us, but please understand that we are now under a divine attack. When Stephen Miller, when I broke that down, if you saw the trick, when we broke down the Charlie Kirk funeral Klan rally, and that Stephen Miller dude talked about we're gonna attack our enemies. Well, here it is. And the only way you can't see it is because you want to be blind for our people out here. And now, again, when you have, I'm gonna repeat this again. When you have white women making videos now, going on YouTube, talking about they feel safer with black men versus their own white men, because white men are are prone to shooting up movie theaters. This is what's coming out of white women's mouths. Now, what more do you need? And no, it's not all, but let's just face the facts. That we're living in the time where the Lord said that every nation is going to return to their own kind. So now they feel confident. They feel that they have their technological terrors and their technological war weapons, and they think that even with their matter and antimatter, they can take on the Lord himself. This is how confident these fools are. They're going to come for us. Well, go ahead. Go right on ahead. America, Mystery Babylon, Esau, go right on ahead. And those who want to come in league with you, go right ahead. Help yourself. We understand a great many of our people are going to catch their grave. But you better believe it's not going to be a one-sided affair. And we're already showing you that. Yeah, all right. See, look, it's like this. Since you're too stubborn to give us reparations, here it is. The Lord gave you. I'm going to say, it looked like the Lord extended the time to really give y'all a chance to clean it up. But nope, you're not going to clean it up. And now we have to see that, look, we were never meant to be in captivity forever. And now our redemption, now our time is in effect for our freedom, our true name, and your government is coming down, irregardless of what efforts you make. White men fight back, white men. Shut up, man. Shut up. Who you gonna fight? You're the ones killing each other right now. You're the ones, movie theaters, churches, synagogues, mosque, schools, your jobs, blasting and killing and shooting like it's going out of style. You're the ones pushing legislation, illegal laws. depriving even your own. So who you gonna fight? That's fine. The children of the Lord, but understand, the Lord is making his reintroduction in the earth. Again, like I said, with all these outbreaks of violence, black men and women, children of Israel, you better recognize now he's forcing our hand. See, the good Lord is forcing our hand now. Now he's forcing our hand to come together. And some of you out there, your ego is going to be your undoing. That's fine. For those who understand, who are now tuning into the Lion's Den, we're not going to give you no fluff. We're not going to give you no illusions here. We're getting ready to go into another lockdown. Okay, you can put bad food in our neighborhoods. You can do all that to your heart's content. But as this thing pops off, tick, 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 boom, anarchy. Now it's in full sway. See, you like I said, the only way you're not going to see biblical prophecies in full effect is because you want to be blind. I don't care who listening. I don't care what nationality you are, whether you're Israelite practicing or non-practicing, or whether you of another nation listening. The only way you're going to not see this is because you want to be blind. You're choosing to be blind. But again, for all y'all out there wondering why Chicago, Philadelphia, Memphis, and wherever else ICE is at, you want to know why? Oh, blame the Democrats, though. Do not get it twisted. Don't blame Trump. Trump and company are just, following the blueprint the Democrats set up. Yeah, that's right. For all my black folk out there, you wouldn't be getting snatched up by ICE had not the Democrats dumped these people in our neighborhoods. And they did it deliberately, willfully. All right? Spitefully. But again, now it's backfiring on them.
The Democrats ain't got nothing to do with this.
No, okay, hold on, seventh answer. Understand. The Democrats and the Republicans both, they're
No, it's because they're trying to stop people from seeing that file. They shut this down because they don't want nobody to see that Epstein file. It don't have nothing to do with it. That's what they keep trying to blame everything on the Democrats when the Democrats ain't even doing nothing. It's president doing everything, and the Republicans is standing on whatever he say. And then they blaming the Democrats when they sitting over there doing nothing. Fighting for they pretty much fighting for their background because they steady finding things to try to prosecute them on, bringing up things. They trying to send all the Democrats to jail. Like, are you really serious? The Democrats ain't got nothing to do with it. That's the rhetoric on the internet. No, it's actually the president, and they trying to stop that Epstein file from going on. So that's why they shut it down, because they don't want to vote that lady in. I told you this.
No, seventh answer. Listen, I'm looking at it from a bioptical. Sure, I get that, but I want to put the history into play, and then we can bring it to current. We know, yes, of course, the Epstein file, all that at the same time, but at the same time, they're losing their power structure too. Don't forget, this is a spiritual matter too. So it's all.
Of course, but I'm letting you know that it ain't got nothing to do with no Democrats. I follow this to the T. It ain't got nothing to do with them. That's the rhetoric that's been the white wing has been pushing out. They ain't even passing nothing or doing anything. It's the president and his crew is passing things and doing things and shut down the government and trying to blame other people. And I'm trying to tell you why they shut it down. They shut it down is because they do not want to elect that lady into the office because she gonna stand on the vote to bring out that file. Soon as she got voted in, they shut it down because they do not want that lady to be voted in, because once she get voted in, she already said her vote goes against um them, and she wants that file to be released. Don't you know that file is dangerous? They trying to cover it up, so they have to shut everything down so nothing move, because that's their last results.
Yes, seventh answer. I get that part, but I'm also just building, using all the building blocks on why we're where we're at. But now, how the Republicans are playing their part. But don't forget that again, we didn't want these people in our neighborhood, but Joe Biden and company put their asses there and had no business doing that. So I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to ignore that part. I can't. I won't.
Yeah, but that's all bull crap. That's why I keep saying that's all bull crap. I keep telling you what the bigger picture is. They go, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. That's Trump with the bullshit. That's Trump. I'm keep telling you, ain't nobody doing. We clearly see, as you can see, as the smoke clear, that you cannot blame Republican and Democrat bullshit no more, because we know that there ain't no legislator, there's no Congress, no none of that. That's all dead. That's all dead. You feel me? So why would they even speak on something that they ain't even going through, passing bills, doing anything? That's rather the judge is shutting things that Donald Trump is doing, and his crew is standing on that and blaming the Republicans. I mean, blaming the Democrats, and they ain't even doing anything besides taking them to court for things that they're firing them on. How you let a whole Democrat crew grow and then blaming them at the same time? That don't make no sense.
You know what, seventh answer? It makes all the sense because they're both in cahoots. See, I'm willing to bet $1 to a donut that not only are Republican names on that freaking Epstein file, you bet we don't look. Matter of fact, when you ran it, when we did the last episode, Barack Obama name on there, John Kerry. So it's both these punks. They're both in collusion. I'm just
But the
for me.
Democrats the ones that's pushing for this file to be released, not the Republicans. It's the Democrats. And that's the reason why they shut it down, is because they don't want this file to be released. So now they're trying to lie about making them seem like they're criminals and all this other stuff. Like, but this is why I'm trying to paint the picture that all that Congress and all this Republican and Democrat is bull crap. We know that there's a hand that's behind Donald Trump, and it's bullshit. And ain't no justice system. All that stuff is dead. Like it's garbage. Like we clearly see that it's not going through different steps. It's not going to uh these laws are not going to Congress. It's not going through the legislature. It's not going through nothing. They're actually just sitting in the office and being bullies and passing things, and then blaming other parties because they are not, you feel me, agreeing with the bullshit that they got going on.
So seventh answer, what you're saying is let's not be razzle dazzled by the political theater and the theatrics. Let's stay focused on the actual hands that are putting everything in
The
motion.
Democrats
Okay,
ain't putting the military out on the streets.
I
They
agree.
fighting against that. The military is the one. I mean, the Democrats is the one that's want this foul to be released because it's cricket pedophiles in this, in the fouls. So why would they fight to get something that, you know what I mean? They up in there, like, don't make no sense. They're standing on business, and then not only that, it's gonna be like it's deeper than what we think, because we just, the fouls. No, it's deeper than that, because there's a lot of parties, a lot of big, you know what I mean, people, big parties in this that's running things, that's, you know, money laundering, doing all kinds of wicked ass stuff that's going on. So it's bigger for them to shut it, for them to shut the government system down, for them to start, because that's all they fighting for is this file to be released. So in order for them to stop the person for getting voted in, they have to shut it down. They made it clear. I have nothing to do with no. Yeah, if you want to blame the Democrats because they're the ones that's first fighting for the release of this file because of these pedophiles, yeah, then blame them. But don't try to blame them and make it seem like they're the ones that's, you know what I mean, ruin the community and all that. Because when we already know, you know what I mean, that the CIA and the government behind that.
Okay, I won't argue against that point, Seventh Answer, but at the same time, the way I look at it is, but all this is really a cloak and dagger to attack we the children of Israel. That's my biggest picture painting. But as far as the Epstein file is concerned, I'm not going to argue that either because we see clear cut they're doing a whole lot to keep this Grigalgo. I keep, I'm not good with name worth the daggone. They, obviously, it's just so many different facets of this thing. One nucleus, but clearly the whole thing is these people are crashing out and losing their power in one dynamic and everything else. So look, whatever it may be, in the grand scheme of all, I'm not even. Your point is taken. Your point is taken.
Yeah, man, I tried to show you the video, the last 2 videos we did to show you that it was gonna be shut down in the video because they tried to stop her from her votes. That was their excuse. He did not want to vote her in, so they shut down this because they said that as soon as she gets to that seat, she's going to be the only vote that they needed to release the files because they trying their best to. They even got the judge to say that they wasn't going to release the file, but they said if they get enough votes that they will release that file, which she is standing on business.
So if they can create martial law, this gives Donald Trump possibly a 3rd term. Okay, and that really will give him an extension on.
But obviously, he's mentioned in the file, though. He's mentioned in that file numerous of times. Okay, he even sent him a birthday card, with a naked woman. You feel what I'm saying? So, and hit the little note that he wrote for his birthday or whatever. But the fact that he's in that file and he don't want that to be released because, you know what I mean? Some of the victims said that they had encounters with him and it wasn't pretty. So if they release that, yeah, he don't want that file to be released. They helping him.
Okay, well, all right. Well, we got all these multifaceted rhymes and reasons and everything else. Okay, so we're gonna just always saying is, look. In the meantime, in between time, we the people are getting caught in the crossfire of this foolishness too, though. All right, that's something I'm not going to ignore either. So these attacks on the people, on the American people, or we the children of Israel, that's a problem that we got to also look at too. The Lord said he was going to have these people in derision. So, it's going down, y'all. It's going down. Kareem, you got any videos you want to queue up? And let's start breaking them down and analyzing them, please.
I'm gonna queue up your video, but I'm gonna go get the video again so I can show you the breakdown, so you can get a clear understanding that they said they was gonna do it. It was like a threat. He made a threat, and then he turned around and did it. But they clearly knew that it was behind them saying that they was gonna give this last vote. So
okay,
I'm gonna queue that up, but I want to keep it in the order. So I'm gonna go get your videos real quick, and then I'm gonna come back to that one.
All right, seventh answer. And like I said, you are now tuned into the Lions. And as you can see, sometimes we go point, counterpoint, but it's all love, you know what I'm saying? And it's good to have these different perspectives and everything else. And this is what we do. We give you a full dinner plate. We give you a full platter. So that way you can just eat to your heart's content, and you can make your final decision and final choice as well as the conversation continues. Now, you know what I'm saying? We already at the one. Good God Almighty, time is flying when you really enjoying yourself. We're already almost at the 1 hour mark. Let me see who's out here in Lions Den Land talking. I know y'all talking. We have, okay, so far, Cooking with Billy. African Americans were dumped on Native Americans. Okay. That's an interesting outlook, Cooking with Billy. But believe me, we ain't asked to be here. We wasn't dumped here. We were brought here as free labor and prisoners of war. It's a big difference. Salaya Ben Yah, what's going on? What's going on? Salaya Ben Yah, you say those white women are lying? Oh, in regards to they feel safer around black men? Well, I would have to agree with them, Salah. I mean, think about it. Who's the one crashing out left, right, and center? Who's out here dismembering women left, right, and center, black and otherwise? Okay, what class of man is out here conducting himself in all kinds of destructive manners? I mean, we have our issues, but yo, come on now. They lead in mass shootings. They lead in stalking. They lead in the whole aspect of serial killing, rapists, and all that. While blaming black people, though. While blaming black men. Projecting. Deflecting. But now here it is with the FBI and CIA when they do tell the truth, and all the law compilations. There's some white women who are legit telling the truth. They are safer around us. We don't go around here mass killing all out of control, out of style. We don't go into white churches and bomb and kill white parishioners as they're praying to their God, whether praying to their God or their version of God. So they kind of got a point, Salaya Benyat, on that one. Real talk. But I agree. Things are being provoked. Now, let me see. World Class Psychic Service says Black did ask the government and the Democrats not to put them people in their neighborhoods. Now they don't want them there anymore. Black peoples were right the entire time. I agree with you on that, World Class. Now, Asiatic 777 says they brought them into that city because they needed laborers. Use common sense. Mexicans are the same race as the northern Native American Indians, and Chicago is native burial ground. And Salaya Benyat says, Trump is trying to provoke, oh, you said the same thing? I said, Salaya Benyat, Trump trying to provoke martial law. During martial law, the current president remains president. That gives him a third term. There you go, bingo. Salaya Benyat, there you go. Asiac 777 says it's against the law for the military to choose political parties. And that was a decapitated corpse body note. Don't know what you mean by that, Asiatic 777, but yo, you guys are cooking with gas out here right about now, and it's good to see you all talking. And welcome. And for those of you who are now joining, you're now tuned to another high-powered, action-packed, no compromise episode of The Lion's Den. The conversation continues, talking about what's on your mind. All right? And the bottom line is that, look, we're talking tick, 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 boom. Anarchy. And we see all throughout this country unrest. Yeah, the Epstein files, white power, white people are bugging out because now their status and their whole white privilege and everything else is crumbling. You have white men who are in a conundrum, feeling like everyone's coming against them, but the Bible said it was going to be this way, y'all. What say you? So now it's in full sway. So you have the Epstein file, Jeffrey Epstein, and what? I mean, look, just burn the files. I'm just saying, I'm being silly. I don't know who has the Epstein files in their hands right about now, but damn, Jeffrey Epstein, boy, these people were dumb. I'm not gonna go someplace where they're gonna have my name and my date and the time that I came. Okay. And boy, what names is in that file? But I mean, look, we're now in the season of revelation and everything is being revealed. See? And so when you tune in here, you know that we're going to bring it to you straight with no chaser. You know that here it is. We're not on anyone's payroll. We don't have any sponsors breathing down our backs, telling us what we can and cannot say. All right? And that makes us, how you say, extremely trustworthy. Because again, we're not being paid to lie to you. And number one, with a bullet, we can't be bought and we won't be sold. So now, tell a friend, if you're new and you're listening here, okay, all right, we can be a little colorful in the language department sometimes, but don't let that throw you off the scholarly information that we're bringing. Look, this is a very trying and emotional time. We strive to keep our emotions at bay and be detached. But look, when we are being attacked as a people, when we are being distracted with political theater, and while we're being distracted with political theater, our health, our wealth, all our overall well-being is now under full attack, blatant attack. Sometimes you're not going to want to be politically correct. You're going to want to be direct. And that's leave me alone, back up off me. So we have to keep our eyes open at all times now. And it's so much happening, it's hard to keep up. All right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go, listen, sometime, I will say this though. I will say, I wish I did have a couple $100 million machine where we could go out and do our own research and do our own boots on the ground, because here it is, we get news clips and everything else, and as you can see, we do our own research and do our own soul searching, but it's nothing better than being able to have your own correspondence out there, boots on the ground, direct. But anyway,
Jeffries has said that President Trump is in the Presidential Witness Protection Program since the shutdown has begun. What's the White House's reaction to that?
That's just more ridiculous fodder from Hakeem Jeffries.
This protection program since the shutdown has begun. What's the White House's reaction to that?
That's just more ridiculous fodder from Hakeem Jeffries. As you all know, because you're here every day, the president is literally working around the clock right now. I think he has a swearing-in ceremony, or he already did. He has several meetings on the books today. He literally works 24/7. Anyone who works in this place or covers this place, as you all do, knows that to be true. And Hakeem Jeffries and the Senate Democrats should get back to work in a few minutes and vote to reopen the government. Emily.
Donald Trump and his entire administration have turned dodging accountability into a political strategy. Whether it's the government shutdown they engineered and still can't resolve, or the economic turmoil that erupted under their watch, which Trump somehow insists on blaming Joe Biden for, the pattern is as predictable as it is reckless. deny responsibility, deflect blame, and point fingers at everyone else. Yet there's one shadow Trump runs from more frantically than any other: his deep, lingering connection to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. With new evidence surfacing, the fear and desperation behind his evasions are becoming impossible to ignore. Today, we're going to unpack every layer of this story. But before we dive in, if you subscribe to the channel, your support helps us shine a light on the truths powerful people would rather keep buried. And let's be clear, the Epstein scandal is only one chapter in a much larger narrative of Trump's avoidance and deflection. That same pattern is at play in the government shutdown he refuses to confront.
But what do you think it's going to take to get the job done? Are Democrats going to have to blink, or Republicans?
Well, it doesn't seem like much of a give and take right now. The only thing that Donald Trump seems willing to give is his Trump 2028 hat out to Chuck Schumer and, of course, Hakeem Jeffries, who it doesn't really seem if he knows who that is at this point. Trump, to me, is kind of this dementia-addled, really nursing home patient in the White House right now. He's leaning on Vaught. He's leaning on Stephen Miller because he doesn't want to get the job done. What Trump wants to do is take this as an opportunity, in my opinion, to go out and golf, to, I guess, maybe remodel some more parts of the White House. He just doesn't seem interested in negotiating. He's taking pleasure in what Russ Vaught said would be the traumatizing of federal workers. Like, that was their goal coming into this administration. And so it seems like that's...
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Republicans are desperate to stop the release of the Epstein files. They're using every trick in the book to block and delay the release of these files and protect Donald Trump.
What we're simply wanting to do here is give them cover.
No one has been prosecuted except Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't listen to their words. Watch their actions.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
July 2025. The Trump Department of Justice issues a memo stating that no further Epstein documents will be released from federal investigation. July 2025. Mike Johnson ends the session early for August recess to block a vote to release the Epstein files.
The Republican-controlled House Rules Committee has just voted to block the release of the Epstein files.
Because they're afraid to release the Epstein files.
September 2025. Republican members of the House Financial Services Committee block efforts by Democrats to subpoena the Treasury Department for unredacted documents on Epstein's financial transactions. September 2025.
I filed an amendment that would require the Attorney General to release all the Epstein files.
Senate Republicans defeat an amendment from Chuck Schumer that would have compelled the DOJ to release all Epstein files. The amendment failed by a 51-49 vote. Top House Republicans prevented a floor vote on a discharge petition that would have forced the release of the Epstein files. Mike Johnson is refusing to swear in newly elected Arizona Democrat Adelita Grijalva, who last week won Arizona Congressional District 7.
They're so concerned about protecting these rich, powerful men and not having a vote on Epstein that they're not willing to swear in someone who won 69-29 in her election.
He's doing it to avoid a vote on releasing the Epstein files.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Keep the Epstein story alive. Demand action now. Release the Trump Epstein files.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
It's protecting young people from sexual predators. And now I would like to invite Bill Sweeney up to the podium.
Preserving the innocence of children is one of the most important responsibilities we carry as adults. Purposely failing children in any way is not an option. And yet there are some in society who have chosen to blatantly disregard this responsibility, using whatever means they have at their disposal to lure children into a life which they should never have been exposed. As we allege today, Jeffrey Epstein is one of those people. At approximately 5:30 p.m. on Saturday evening, we arrested him at Teterboro Airport without incident. Epstein has been charged with 1 count each of sex trafficking and sex trafficking conspiracy. For at least a 4-year period covering the entirety of 2002 through 2005, he is alleged to have sexually exploited and abused dozens of minor girls at his homes in New York City and in Palm Beach, Florida. The girls were recruited in a variety of ways, usually by employees of Epstein and sometimes by fellow victims. The victims typically received hundreds of dollars in cash. The estimated dozens of victims were as young as 14 years old at time of recruitment. Children who provided Epstein massages while they were nude or partially nude. Children who were asked to engage in direct and indirect sex acts for money. Children who were enticed to do all these things at the hands of a man more than or nearly 3 times their age. Those who have been victimized by child sexual predators are frequently haunted by memories of these crimes well into their adulthood, often for the rest of their lives. They bear the burden of someone else's criminal behavior. Too often, adults in our society have turned a blind eye to this type of criminal behavior alleged here. We have seen the excuses, the ignorance of many who didn't even bother to understand that this behavior is a persistent scourge against our society's vulnerable youth, and the willful blindness as to who the real villains are in this type of outrageous crime. The villains are the adult perpetrators, not the children. To the victims who may be listening, we're getting word of today.
You know what's nightmarish about this whole thing, Seventh Answer, though? These are the damn people that determine who gets money for an operation. These are the people who determine the money that should go into social spending or shouldn't go. And they're the ones passing bills and legislation to make people's lives miserable. And this is what they're doing.
Exactly.
That one makes us even more. Damn.
Exactly. I keep telling you that. So that's the reason why they don't want this to. That's why the American people don't want it to close, because they want to know who these people is.
Go ahead, run the video. I'm sorry, you were saying something?
No,
All right, let's continue the video. I'm sorry.
Deep.
Yes, D. Beyond D.
These charges. The team standing here before you represents FBI special agents, NYPD detectives, analysts, victim specialists, prosecutors, who make it their mission to listen to every individual who's been exploited and to advocate for the most vulnerable among us. We are parents, we are community members, we are human beings. But as an FBI special agent and the head of this office, I have the privilege to represent and stand among many who make it our mission to put predators behind bars where they belong, regardless of the predator's power, wealth, or perceived connections. Today, I'm asking everyone to take a good look at this man. If you have been victimized in any way, or if you are somebody who has any additional information about his alleged illegal behavior, we want to hear from you. Whatever age you are now, whatever age you were then, no matter where or when the incident or incidents took place. The number to call is 1-800-CALL-FBI. You will then be driven to the top of the list, and the Jeffrey Epstein matter is number 1 on the major case list in the country when you call that 1-800-CALL-FBI number. Your bravery might just empower others to speak out about crimes committed against them. It's important to remember there never was, nor will there be, an excuse for this kind of behavior. We know that reliving these events can be brutal. We are here to work side by side with you as you go through this process. You should know that in the eyes of the FBI, you come first. Many thanks, as always, to our partners from the Southern District.
Siri, what is an alternative way to swear in a new state representative in the absence of the Speaker of the House? In the absence of the Speaker of the House, a new state representative can be sworn in through a resolution passed by the House which we know the Republicans control, authorizing another member, a judge, they kind of got those under control as well, or another official to administer the oath of office. A designated speaker pro temp can also be appointed to handle such duties, allowing the representative to take their seat and participate in legislative proceedings. So, as we all know, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is refusing to swear in, well, allegedly refusing to swear in newly elected Arizona lawmaker Adelita Grijalva. So, what we need to figure out, good people, is what constitutes as an absence for the Speaker of the House. Does refusal to do your duty constitute as an absence? Let's see. Baby, I'm a Google queen. The House can pass a resolution to allow another individual to administer the oath of office. And we know this is tied into releasing those Epstein files, since she's going to be the 218th vote needed. Siri, what?
In some ways, you can call this an Epstein shutdown, because we had many, many months to avoid the shutdown by negotiating with Republicans to avoid it.
Thursday, Castro Valley Congressman Eric Swalwell alleged the government shutdown is an excuse for the Trump administration to delay releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files.
But what did Republicans do? During the summer, something I've not seen in my 13 years in Washington, they ended the summer early by 2 weeks to send us home to avoid votes on releasing the Epstein files.
Swalwell says the shutdown will have real consequences, impacting air traffic controllers, U.S. troops, and the healthcare system.
The big, brutal bill took 2 million Californians off their healthcare. It closed rural hospitals. It didn't kill cancer, it killed cancer research.
Democrats are demanding funding for healthcare subsidies set to expire at the end of the year under the Affordable Care Act, a move they say could drive up premiums for millions nationwide.
The party in charge is the party responsible. So if he can get his head in the game and come to the negotiating table and be the great negotiator that he thinks he is, we can get out of this. In some ways, you can call this an Epstein shutdown, because we had many.
Portland's apparently a war zone. I've seen real war zones. And this ain't it. Our deployment here is.
I'm at 217 signatures, but if I get to 218, what happens is I bypass the Speaker of the House. I bypass all the committees. They've had years to solve this problem. They haven't done it. And when I get to 218, I get the vote on my bill on the floor of the House. And guess what? This week, there was a special election, and the Democrat and the Republican in Arizona for this seat said they would sign my petition. And so one of them won. So now I'm at 218.
Well, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie is raising new concerns about the Jeffrey Epstein files, specifically the list of names victims gave to the FBI. Massie said at least 20 names were turned over to investigators, but so far, none of those names have been made public. He claims the FBI is either questioning the credibility of Epstein's victims or protecting powerful individuals.
This is not a hoax. There are more names. Those names are not being released. The only argument for not releasing those names is either the FBI doesn't think the victims are credible, or they don't want to embarrass those rich and powerful people.
Massie is now calling for more transparency from federal investigators and says the American people deserve to know the full truth about Epstein's network.
So the latest is I was looking at the example of now Representative Walkinshaw from Virginia, who was elected 2 weeks ago Tuesday, and that following Wednesday, less than 24 hours, was sworn in, and with unofficial results. It literally says so in, the congressman who was introducing him, like, here's unofficial results, but it's not disputed, and it was approved without objection. So For me, this Chicana from Tucson, apparently the rules have now changed in 2 weeks, and we're being asked for official results. And there's conversations with our Secretary of State, Fontes. And so I'm sort of wondering why in 2 weeks the rules are so different, and maybe it has something to do with the fact that I'm number 218. I don't know.
Hey, it's Congressman Robert Garcia. Now, we just received some new Epstein files and documents from the Epstein estate, and some of the names are going to surprise you. Now, in this actual batch, we've got flight logs, we've got financial records, we've got information about Epstein that goes back 30 years that we just received. The files show evidence of scheduled meetings with Peter Thiel and Steve Bannon, as well as a pending trip by Elon Musk to Epstein's infamous island. Did he go? That question needs to be asked. We also know other folks are listed as passengers, including Prince Andrew. And the more files we get, the more we realize how vast Epstein's network really was. It spanned the globe, reaching high places and powerful people. And like I've said before, I don't care how much money you have, how powerful you are, or if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you harmed women and girls, you deserve to be exposed, and we have to get justice for the survivors. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has the power right now to release all of the files. We need them released. Release the files immediately. Thanks so much.
They aren't swearing her in is because of this Epstein files. Can you believe that? The government is about to shut down, and they are so concerned about protecting these rich, powerful men and not having a vote on Epstein.
Hold on, stop for a second. Did I just hear that dude say that Pam Bondi, the same Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, who talking about she wants to put up legislation for hate speech, she has the power to release them, and this heifer ain't releasing them? Wow.
She got him in her office. She got him in her office, seen him and everything. And she went to go see Maxine, Delaney Maxine, too.
Wow. Wait, the same Pam Bondi?
And
Hold on,
moved her. And they moved her. They moved her to a lower, lesser confinement. Like it's not like no
she's not in max. She's not in maximum. She's not in minimum. She's at a country club. But hold up, Karima. Are we talking about the same Pam Bondi who knew Donald Trump when she was a young? Oh, hey, yo!
I showed you that.
I know you did. That's why I'm being sarcastic. I know you. I was getting ready you beat. I was going to mention that. Wow! Oh my God! Hey, yo! Ooh!
Yeah, she's the one fighting hard. Her and Mike Johnson, whatever his name. Yeah.
Mike. Yeah. Yo! Wow. Okay. Run a video.
They're not willing to swear in someone who won 69 to 29 in her election, and they're not willing to have us take votes this week.
I mean, I can believe it because we've seen what they've done over the last many, many months. But yes, I'm glad you called it out so people understand exactly what's happening here.
All the way through the Hunter Biden laptop suppressed, all the way through weaponization. Pam, I'm nervous for the country when I put it all together.
You shouldn't be nervous any longer because Donald Trump is in office and the weaponization has ended. We've made that very clear. Whether you're a former FBI director, whether you're a former head of an intel community, whether you are a current state or local elected official, whether you're a billionaire funding organizations to try to keep Donald Trump out of office, everything is on the table. We will investigate you and we will end the weaponization. No longer will there be a two-tier system of justice. And we are working hand in hand, Director Patel and I, Todd Blanche, with our incredible intel community, Tulsi Gabbard, John Radcliffe, going nonstop around the clock. People will be held accountable.
I'm at 217 signatures, but if I'm at 217.
The body of 29-year-old Alexis Schuler was discovered in what authorities
Okay, we're back. All right, this is another. You are now tuned into The Conversation Continues here on the Lion's Den. as we talk about what's on your mind. As you can see, we're going hard body, tick, 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 boom, anarchy. But then maybe I should be careful when I say hard and body, considering, no, all jokes aside, considering what we're delving into, which is a bunch of freaks and America, the land of the freaks and the home of the depraved. Like forgive the commercials that might be interspersed with some of the videos that we give here. YouTube seem to be, everybody seem to be up for a money grab. But we're gonna cue up this next video because we want to give you a whole well-rounded, outlook on this issue. But the bottom line is, look, we cannot go on having these freaks and depraved individuals governing us and making and passing all these policies that we are getting caught in the crossfire. From a spiritual perspective, so go ahead.
Biden and other people, and blaming it on people that ain't even here, like Biden and all this other stuff. Like he needs to take accountability for his actions,
Now, okay, I agree. I won't argue. I won't argue that point with you. I agree. But me, I put everybody in the blender. But I get where you're coming from, Seventh Answer. Let's focus on exactly who's in the depth and the scope, and whose names are actually in those files. Okay. Hey, wow. But the fact that Pam Bondi
and whose benefit to lose if that
is
released. Okay.
But hold up though.
And you're right. There are some Democrats that are involved. Them are the ones that's shutting up. That's ain't saying nothing. While the other ones that's standing ground and fighting. The ones Democrats that you don't hear that ain't fighting, that ain't saying nothing. Yeah, they the ones that's involved in that. But the ones that's on business, they consider them as loudmouth. All this talking, crazy, trying to mess up their character when they really actually just trying to stand on business about the corruption that's going on. So yeah.
But Seventh Answer, I can't get past the fact that the same Pam Bondi that you showed the video, her being in these the pageants and hugging up on the DTG down DJT.
Every last one.
But she's the one holding the files and not releasing them.
Yes.
I can't get past that.
But most of them young women have been, seen. The women that's working with him, that's under his command, them women came from, pageants and brothels and different little things that of Epstein. Even his wife was gifted to him through Epstein. Yeah. Trump's wife.
Ooh. I see how you had caught yourself when you were gonna say early on, came from out under his wing. Yeah, literally, apparently so. Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. I just heard what you just said. You trying to tell me that Ivania Trump, I think, what's her name again?
She was a gift.
A gift. What is this? Damn, from Israelites doing it to you got. What is with this giving women as gifts crap, man? Oh my, I got triggered.
Remember the Russian, president put her on blast, her little naked self, but yeah, she was already out there, She was already, turning tricks.
Wow. Oh man. Oh. Okay. That's why she be snatching away from him. All right. Okay.
But I played the video. She's quiet. You know what I mean? Trump over there starting bullshit, but she over there making powerful moves, dealing with powerful leaders and things of that matter. So I want to do another thing on her because this lady is quiet, but she actually making powerful moves, speaking with powerful leaders, and actually getting things passed. So yeah, you have to watch her. You feel what I'm saying? She more powerful than Trump.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. So now, let me see. I see Asiatic is doing a whole. We have Allah, Allah, Yasha Allah. You just said 13 years. 13. Don't know what that alludes to, but welcome. We have you said Asiatic 777 says Epstein and Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein that is, were best buddies and white Jew brothers. Okay, you're right. You're quite right.
Right.
Okay, and you Asiatic said that Pam Bondi loves the pedophile life. All right. Heavy statement. Heavy statement. All right. Can we run some of the videos of what's transpiring in Chicago? I want to just give a well-rounded balance and everything else. You may not agree with these takes, but I want to just give a well-rounded balance point. But yo, Karima, damn. Okay, I'm over here triggered. I'm trying to keep my emotions at bay. As you know, as I was a child, I was a victim, and at the same time, all that seeing men passing other men's wives as gifts here in this so-called Israelite movement. Wow, man! Just go ahead, run the video, Karima. Oh, I think this is going into Rania. This is Rania Lewis versus what we talking about now. Yeah, thank you.
I have to go up. Yeah, I got to go up.
Yeah, so stand by, y'all. Like I said, now take a quick time out as we're now at the 1 hour mark. You're now tuned into the Lion's Den. I know this is a work week. Some of y'all may not be able to hang out with us, but if you are here right now, welcome out there listening. Okay, you are now tuned into one of the Truthality social media platform experiences, and this is the conversation continues, talking about what's on your mind. We are your hosts right now, the seventh answer, Lady Karima, along with Brother Malachi, Big Baby Hebrew, putting it down for you and yours. Now, if you're new, welcome. Hit that subscribe and hit that like button, as they're absolutely free. If you're not new, well, come on in. Let your comments be known. Sound off. Let us know how you feel about what we're talking about. Or go back out, invite a friend to come in and join this conversation and listen to this conversation as we lay it down. All right? And we're going to continue on. We're going to now go to Chicago. Let's see what's popping off in Chicago. This is kind of funny. This is a funny episode where this dude taunts the ICE agents. But, just take a look, y'all. Take a look.
Yeah, he ended up dropping his phone. But I want to talk about the mayor. The mayor has signed a executive order. Okay, I'm gonna show that video where he said that he's not applying to none of these rules, and they're pretty much in compliance and in violation of the Constitution, and that they will take action, pretty much arrest these military officials who come in and violate, because of the incident that happened at that apartment, and how they coming in and just being tyrants to the community. So the mayor basically signed an order stating that to start arresting these officials and bringing them up on charges, these military people.
And for some of you out there, if you're not familiar with the mayor of Chicago, his name is Brandon Davis. Thank you, late seventh answer. Let's go to work. Wait, before you run the video, Ayo, they're out there. ICE is so out of control. They're out there macing the cops. That's how out of control they are. Just want to put that out there. Run the video.
Yeah, this is him right here in this video right here of him speaking about, what they're going to do. So he put in you see, he signed the order to stop the federal agent. I'm going to show that in a minute, but
But this is a video. This video I pull. These are people saying that don't believe the hype, that there are no attacks on black folks. But run the video and let's see. We'll leave it to you out there to be the
narrative in
judge.
your head that somebody coming for you because they not. You was born here. You was born on this land.
A few days ago, we reported on ICE agents swooping in on an apartment complex located in South Shore, Chicago. According to reports, the raid would focus on Venezuelan gang members and illegal immigrants who lived in the apartment. Now, what will also be reported is that Black American citizens and children would be detained in the middle of the night, a part of the raid. Now, this has caused concerns across the internet and other media outlets following the story. Now, when it comes specifically to Black Americans being detained during this raid, fellow Black online users were going to express their fears of being ICE's next target. Across social media and sites like TikTok, several would react to the news of Black people being held for hours by ICE agents.
Y'all know what's next, right? There's going to be white American citizens who are asking Black American citizens for their papers, for their proof of citizenship. I wish I was being hyperbolic. I wish I was joking, but this is exactly where we're going. We're going to a place where a white boy feels he has permission, not feels he has permission, will actually have permission from the federal government to ask you for your papers. I keep saying that immigrant issues are Black people's issue, and y'all keep pushing back, but I don't think y'all are hearing me or understand what I'm saying. I'm saying is they're going to use ICE to eventually harass us the way that they're harassing immigrant communities, not only ICE, but every federal agent, right? And we got to a point where you don't even have to be like a trained federal agent. They're literally just giving any white boy who wants to harass immigrants a job. But they're going to take it a step further, and they're going to give people permission to ask for other people's proof of residency.
With less burning, it
Now, surprisingly, despite the concerns that some felt about ICE targeting Blacks in Chicago, some Black Chicago residents are pushing back on these rumors, even thanking Trump and ICE's actions to clean up their neighborhood.
At this point, y'all have really pissed me off, especially you so-called influencers who are taking parts of stories coming out of Chicago and using it for fucking clickbait and engagement. Now, I have been urging my people here to pause so that they can process things. Y'all talking about them coming down on that building out south. Whole time, that building used to be predominantly Black. That building was predominantly Venezuelans, okay? There are people from that neighborhood that have been complaining about that building for a year, okay? They showed y'all broken windows and shit that were already there. These are the things that y'all have to stop doing. And this is why I keep telling people here in the city, particularly Black people, pause so you can process. If y'all start responding to shit out of emotion, then you don't know what the fucking play is because you haven't had time to actually think. What people are doing are trying to get a rise out of Black Chicagoans, okay? That was one incident. Then you had the guy out west that had the accident and they pulled him out and one of the agents was choking him and people were recording it, okay? So again, follow-ups to all of these things, never. Nobody ever comes back with the follow-up. They talking about, oh, they're arresting Black people in Chicago. All of the Black people that they took from that building on the south side were released. The 37 people that they detained were all Venezuelans who were part of a particular gang. Y'all got to stop doing that shit.
Chicago, you need to stop lying and saying, and people on this internet need to stop lying and saying that they're coming for Black people. Yes, there was a building in a Black community that was not majority Black because it had been overran by illegal gang bangers. Let's be clear. So why everybody want to keep throwing that narrative around half of South Shore is fucking invaded by illegals. That's the truth. So don't get on here saying Black people are being came for. They're coming because they're in our neighborhoods and our communities. That's why. So yes, They're going to go in buildings where Black people live and sleep because they put them in buildings where Black people live and sleep. South Shore, born and raised. I know what I'm talking about. Stop pushing that narrative because it's not correct.
Now, this same user would then visit the South Shore apartment that was raided, where she would even confirm with a resident that the building had been taken over by Venezuelan immigrants.
Yeah, they been busting windows out. Okay, because see, that's again a narrative that they done put on social media is that the ICE came and busted out y'all windows. That's a lie. So them windows over there right there, they didn't bust out no windows. ICE didn't bust out some windows. These was already busted on that floor up there. Same way you saying over here. This is the building that everyone is in an uproar about. So as I said, South Shore, this is your community, your neighborhood, and this building was not majority Black when the ICE came the other day. Yes, Black people were affected, but this building was overran by illegal Venezuelan gangs. And I just had several conversations with residents who are moving their stuff out of here that confirmed that. So stop letting media put that false narrative in your head that somebody coming for you, because they not. You was born here. You was born on this land. Rise up and stand up on something and stop letting any and everybody tell you something.
This conversation has caused many to question what rights do they have when encountering ICE, and do ICE agents need a warrant to arrest you? According to ICE.gov, agents can arrest you if they have suspicion. It goes on to read, ICE does not need judicial warrants to make arrests. Like all other law enforcement officers, can initiate consensual encounters and speak with people, briefly detain aliens when they have reasonable suspicion that the aliens are illegally present in the United States, and arrest people they believe are illegal aliens. ICE officers and agents can also detain and search people crossing the border. All aliens who violate U.S. immigration law are subject to arrest and detention, regardless of their criminal histories. Those with final orders of removal are removed from the United States. Now, according to NPR, the only time a warrant is needed by ICE is for arrests at homes or private businesses. In regards to the latest surrounding Chicago, protests have also begun in part of the city from those opposed to ICE's presence in Chicago. And this appears to now being used as a reason to send in the National Guard by the Trump administration. In a statement given to ABC7, a White House spokesperson would confirm Trump's move to follow through with sending in the National Guard. Amidst ongoing violent riots and lawlessness, the local leaders like Illinois Governor Fitzer have refused to step in to quell. President Trump has authorized 300 National Guardsmen to protect federal officers and assets. President Trump will not turn a blind eye to lawlessness plaguing American cities. So let's talk about it more in the comments below. What do you take from this latest response by President Trump to send in the National Guard to Chicago? And do you agree with these Black Chicago residents that maybe this was a good thing to happen in their neighborhoods? Stay today for the latest news in comedy, culture, and sports by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. And if you enjoy content like this, check out hypersclub.com to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. And if you have a story you think we should cover, send us a message now at hyperlerts.com. Reporting live from Hypers Club in Atlanta for High Plus News, I'm John Abba.
And yeah, like I said, we're gonna give you fair, balanced, and a variety of different aspects and everything else. We're gonna have another video coming up. But like I said, there's some out there who say that it's not as dire as the media is painting it. But the videos now, the next couple of videos gonna show a little bit different than what this is saying. Like I said, the ones we're gonna queue up for you, ain't no deal. It's out there. I don't know what she talking about, but she's entitled to her opinion.
That's why I say. But you notice that they didn't play the victims that's up in there talking about what they didn't experience. It's crazy how they silence the victims, which there wasn't Philistines, it wasn't any other, you know what I mean? Like this fool Donald Trump think Puerto Ricans are immigrants. Okay. This fool think that he said he talked to the president of Puerto Rico.
Hold on. Puerto Rico don't have a president.
Trump is the president of Puerto Rico.
He's dumb.
It makes sense. This is what I'm saying. But you notice in that video they didn't play victims, but there was black people talking about what they didn't been through, but they muted them and started talking over them about other people, and they found other people that didn't experience probably the same thing other people in the experience. You can find people that will cover up the story, but that's what they say about people that would try, that's paid to try to cover up the story to make it seem like these people are the best interest for them.
But seventh answer, that's why I queued up some other videos. And I guess when you find them, but we're gonna show the different dynamic. Okay, I heard what the homegirl said, and the two ladies said, but I don't know what they talking about.
You heard the video that she played, the video that I played that yesterday of them talking about their. That's how you know about this. Yeah.
Okay.
So that black lady, the dude, and all them that they muffed that wasn't talking, they was the victims talking about their experience.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay.
But you didn't see no other nationalities that confirmed that they was. You didn't see the immigrants. You didn't see none of the people that they was talking about. You know what I mean? Just
no, we didn't. But when you queue up the other video, like I said, the ones I got brutal, where even the cops are getting maced by ICE. All right, and this is and you got Governor Pritzker of Chicago and Brandon Davis, the mayor, up in arms. The governor of Illinois, the entire state, and the mayor of Chicago, Illinois, up in arms about what's transpiring. So, like I said, what we're doing here is bringing you blow by blow, bit by bit, piece by piece, the entire puzzle of what's transpiring in this government and with your president who thinks that Puerto Rico has a president. And all the freaks, kooks, and perverts that we need to get rid of because they are running this society into the ground and we're getting caught in the crossfire. It's not a good thing. And if there indeed is a God, come on, I wish he would just bring an end to all this madness. Let's see who's talking. All right, we have Joshua Morel. You said now is the time, President Donald Trump, to make the deal and make America great again by giving us our reparations to repatriation home before it's too late. Said the noble Joshua Morel of the Hebrew Israelite community in the land of Israel before the real Mount Zion. Okay, here's what I'm going to say, Joshua. Yeah, it would be ideal if they follow Ezekiel 33 and 15, which said, the 33rd chapter and 15 verse says that if the wicked give back the pledge and restore that which he or they have stolen and keep the commandments, they'll be saved. But these fools are not going to give us reparations, okay? We can still talk about it. We can still keep it in their faces, but willfully and righteously wanting to give it to us, nah, they're not going to do that. We saw how they done gave. We saw that when all that money being given to Ukraine, all that money, the 700 million plus given to these illegal immigrants, that was our reparations money right there. And that was both the Republican and Democrat campaign on that issue. Both of them are adamant about not giving us our reparations. But you're right, that would be the ideal under the Lord's mandate. But these punks, they're not going to honor that. But you have a valid point. And let me see. Let me see. Asiatic 777 said, well, South Americans and Central Americans had to accept all of the Africans in their neighborhoods. Mexico allowed all kinds of Africans in their lands. And Mexicans helped the Underground Railroad. Are you sure about that part? Now that part, a little. I don't remember that being a part of history at all. Asiatic 777, but yeah. There's not even any indigenous people that live in Puerto Rico anymore. Okay, with the large influx of and removal of the actual Boricua and Taino, I have to agree with you on that. There's been a large Spaniard takeover in both in New San Juan and Old San Juan in Puerto Rico. Now we're gonna move on. Cooking with Billy says the Israelites look like the Moabites. Okay. And the tribe of Gad, Hyksos, and Moab all look alike. Okay, Cooking with Billy. If you say so. So now, the thing is though, right? We have to understand that while we're still here in this land, this godforsaken dunghole of a land, we're all in danger. Because it's clear to me that we have maniacs. We've been having maniacs at the helm of this governing society. These people are stark raving maniacs and out of their minds and perverted and rotten to the core. So what we're doing tonight is just showing you and giving you all a heads up on the who, what, where, why, and when, and what we must do to offset any crossfire and any stray bullets that come our way. As we're now nearing definitely a civil war and a race war ultimately. Thus tick, 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 boom. Seventh answer, are you able to find the videos or queue up any videos? Come on, yo, you got me. I'm open like a book right about now. Or well, what we could do is, I think we've given enough on this story. I do want to cover, well, okay, let's use this one here, because I do want to go into Rania Lewis next, if you don't mind, seventh answer. So this is a CNN view on what's happening in Chicago. Run the video, Karima.
Of the night, federal agents stormed an apartment building. Black Hawk helicopters, flashbangs, military-style trucks, all used in the raid. Now, witnesses say everyone was detained, no matter their status. Children were zip-tied together, separated from their parents. And the feds say that they arrested dozens of gang members. Also in the city, Charlie Kirk's group was given a front row seat to a raid inside a Walmart.
Amazing. Secretary Nome was here. They rolled up a couple of guys.
No, stop.
It's rowdy.
Stop. Could you please explain to me, seventh answer, or anybody watching this broadcast, what the hell is Turning Point USA? Why is Turning Point USA, if allegedly this is Turning Point USA, why are they being given an invitation to watch ICE do their Gestapo work? That's wow. Just wow. Anyway, run the video, Kareem.
Honor to your boy Charlie Kirk.
There's a lot of people around. Everyone's filming. the Secretary of Homeland Security is right now doing raids at Walmart.
So as forewarned, I mean, we have a situation in which American cities are at the center of this ICE crackdown, and there's indiscriminate use of force against Americans, non-Americans, people here legally, people here illegally. And on the right, nobody seems to care. In fact, they love it.
I saw a video from a local station in Chicago, and residents of a community there were describing an ICE raid and like what they saw. Two things struck me. One, they were talking about things that happened to them. They were talking about how they were treated in this ICE raid. These are the people that, I guess, by virtue of being born here in America, are entitled to being treated like human beings. The second thing is that they were all Black. And I'm going to say something. We saw this coming. We knew the neighborhoods where these ICE raids would take place. We knew that a lot of these things wouldn't happen in Beverly Hills or in Coconut Grove or any of those places like that. We knew that there would be collateral damage, that there would be trauma that would be inflicted on our communities. We knew that people would be detained, scared. We knew that children would have to see things that they shouldn't have to see. And all of this for political theater so that we look tough on immigration for everyone. It's a horror show. And I do think if it hasn't already happened, that it'll be something that even the most conservative of Americans will get tired of seeing human beings treated this way. At least that's my hope.
One neighbor said the kids were crying. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they were bringing kids down too, had them zip tied to each other, saying that there were trucks, military-style vans used to separate adults from kids. What's going on?
I haven't seen any of this, so I certainly am not aware of particular neighborhoods that are targeted. Obviously, I support them finding and arresting people who are here illegally. And in the community they're in, again, I can't justify, I haven't seen which communities that they're targeting.
Well, one detail that's been left out is that they were targeting Tren de Aragua. And so Tren de Aragua is a violent transnational gang. They send illegal immigrants here to the United States. They traffic drugs, they traffic people, they commit violence. They inflict misery everywhere they go. And 37 people were arrested. That was the purpose of the raid, the targeting of Tren de Aragua, some of the most violent people in our hemisphere. And when they come here, nothing good happens. That was
okay, so if it was targeting, I don't think anybody has a problem with targeting. Right. When you clear out an apartment building and you zip tie children and you arrest and detain everyone. Scott, hold on, Scott. You and me, we're talking here, okay? If they arrest children, they arrest everyone, citizens and non-citizens, for hours, detain them, deprive them of their liberty for no matter how long. You are fine with that.
They didn't arrest children, but
I didn't say they arrested them. They put them in zip ties. But if that makes a difference to you, go ahead.
Here's what makes a difference to me. If the federal government knows that there is a nest of Tren de Aragua in a city like Chicago, they have a responsibility. They have an obligation to go get them. It is unfortunate, to answer your question, that there are children put in harm's way by these violent gangs. But that is going to be the reality.
Or is it unfortunate or is it a violation of their rights is the question? Because I mean, in this country, we have rights against searches and illegal
you're suggesting these children should be effectively human shields for Tren de Aragua. And I don't agree.
What I'm asking, hold on, I want to make it clear. I know that Tren de Aragua and gangs and whatever, it's a catch-all to treat people however you want, to go in there and shred the Constitution or whatever else it is that you want to do. What I'm asking you is this. Do you think that children should have been zip-tied and pulled out of an apartment complex and traumatized like that? Yes or no?
I don't think children should be put in harm's way by transnational gangs.
Just answer the question. Yes or no? Do you think that children?
I don't accept the premise of your question.
I'm asking
the government's not putting children in harm's way. Tren de Aragua.
Real calm now. Real calm. Like
they're the ones putting children in harm's way.
Gentlemen and gentlemen, we have a responsibility for the way we treat people with the power that we have here in America. and we have a standard that we should treat human life with. And I'm asking you very clearly, concisely, should children be treated that way? Does Scott Jennings like that?
I don't accept the premise of your question.
All right, cool.
I don't believe that the premise of your question is accurate. I would ask you back. Should children be allowed to live in an apartment building with Trinidad Aragua? Should the entire community of Chicago have to live with Trinidad Aragua because they hide behind these children?
But here's the thing.
That's my
I
question.
think the answer to that is clear. No, they should not be put in harm's way. But the difference is in this situation is I don't want to be Trinidad Aragua. I don't want my law enforcement to act like Trinidad Aragua. That is the distinction.
You don't want to leave it? Do you just want to leave it and say, well, they have kids in there, let's just move on?
No, but can't law enforcement figure out a way? I don't think this is the first time children have been in an environment where dangerous people have been around them. And I'm most certain that in most of those circumstances, those children aren't zip tied and carried out like animals. What I am wondering is, okay, let's put this fact pattern on any other placement. Let's put it on a school, right? What if there was a gang member in a school? And by this calculation, it would seem like the children in the school, in order to get that one gang member or two gang members, would get.
It's not one gang member. It's 37 people.
Let's say there's five.
It's a large apartment building. That's part of the fact pattern here. I mean, here's another one from our reporting. Tenants said it appears everyone in the building was detained by federal officers, including U.S. citizens. It was scary, said one, because I had never had a gun in my face. That person lives in the building. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? I told them, no, I didn't. Fisher, this person says, she was handcuffed anyway before being released around 3 a.m. and was told anyone with outstanding warrants, even if it was unraited to immigration, would not be released. So people live in apartment buildings all over this country.
I promise that.
Is that where we should go? Wait a second. Should I just go to an apartment building and hide?
Wait. I'm talking about the way that citizen of this country was treated. By the way, I just want to be clear. I think that everybody that's created in the image of God should be treated with respect. And I thought that part of the American ideal was that, but that's gone. I promise y'all will still be invited to Mar-a-Lago if you say that it is wrong that children were zip tied and that American people, American citizens were detained without any warrant or suspicion.
Briefly detained? In an effort to get 37 Trinidad Aragua members?
So tell me.
What you're suggesting is that no enforcement can take place.
Would you be okay being detained so that the gang members, would you be okay with your rights being violated and you be held until 3 a.m. with your family member not knowing why? Is that okay? Because that's not okay with me.
Everybody here seems to believe that if you're Trinidad Aragua, you can go hide in an apartment building, and because there are other people there, you just get to be left alone. That is not a reasonable enforcement position.
There's another option here, and it's actually an option that's utilized by law enforcement every single day in this country. When they are looking for violent people, they go look for those violent people. They do not subject the people around those violent people who have nothing to do with them with arrest, with guns in their faces, with being searched, with being zip tied and handcuffed and detained. Every day in America, law enforcement does their jobs and they don't do it like this. So why is suddenly this okay?
Every day in America, you're not necessarily dealing with the most violent people in the hemisphere.
Yes,
we're not.
That's who is living in here.
Scott, there are violent people who are right here in this country, American citizens. They are in gangs. They were born here. Their parents were born here. Their grandparents were born here.
Believe me, we know.
Those people are dealt with by law enforcement every day. Again, it's a real basic question. If you lived in an apartment building and there happened to be somebody who was guilty of a terrible crime in that building and law enforcement barged in, guns blazing, and put every single person in that apartment building under arrest, you would be fine with that, including you and your family.
Not everybody is under arrest. They arrested 37 people. They arrested 37. You said everybody. It's not. It's 37 people.
This person was sleeping in their bed and they were detained. They were put in handcuffs and detained.
Neither you nor I was there. Neither you nor I were there. But I know this. Now 37
you and your family,
violent people are now off the street.
Scott, you and your family, you are in an apartment building. You and your family, you would be fine with your liberty being held up, your kids, your wife, your children being detained for any amount of time because somebody in that building was a criminal, you'd be fine with that?
You are vastly oversimplifying what's happening here. There are
I think
scores
sometimes
of
we have
illegal
to,
immigrants
I
in
think
the building.
sometimes we have to simplify things so that we actually
many of them are
understand
violent.
what we're talking about. Because I do think that this is a problem now for the rest of the country. People are going about their lives and they are not responsible for the crimes of other people. And yet in this world in which ICE is operating like this, they are being detained for other people's crimes. Willingness to accept a whole lot of collateral violation of rights of anybody, whether you're American citizens or not, because there are many rights in this country that are in the Constitution that it doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not, you're still entitled to them.
Watch what magnesium does to your
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, okay. For all you out there watching, thank you. Listen, Asiatic 777, you're signing off. Well, thank you for your contributions and good night to all that. Meanwhile, in between time, look for Scott Jennings, that dude. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a piece of work, as you can see. All right, and listen. That's a panel having a discussion. What we're gonna do? I want one more video. I pulled some videos where there's some action going. I want y'all to see what's actually going on because Scott Jennings is trying to put it on this Trende Uragra and all that. This had Trende Uragra had nothing to do with black folks, American-born black citizens being snatched and yanked up. All right. Black families being yanked up and their kids being put in zip tie. But then again, hey, this does kind of sound like slavery all over again and what they did back then. That has nothing to do with Trende Uragra. Boy, they love one thing about this administration and those who come out these various administrations, they love making up boogeymen. They love making up some fictitious or over exaggerated world notorious dangerous gang. I thought MS-13 was the world's most dangerous Latin gang. Now we got Trende Uragra. Oh man. So we're talking about ICE. We're talking about their out of control Gestapo tactics, but it's not only in Chicago, but they also cooking up and raising hell in Memphis, Tennessee, parts of Philadelphia. Okay, they're also causing and raising havoc in North Carolina. All right, and other areas, all via your president Donald J. Trump and company. Okay, and as far as when on this discussion they said that black folks being collateral damage, we're not just collateral damage. No, we are deliberately being snatched up as well, despite the fact we were born here. That whole 14th Amendment and all that it centers around. And again, this entire attempt now to take us back to the slavery days when you had to have your papers. Okay? This is where we at right now. We're in a real dangerous and dark time. And we can't pretend that we can't see that there are certain bigoted, racist elements looking to take us back to the plantations. Looking to take us back to where your freedom papers, boy. Who you work for, boy? We're not going back there. No more days like that. Okay? And we are not going to have no choice but to stand, fight if need be. But now we're entering our second hour, okay? So we thank y'all, night owls out there riding with us and all that. So, Seventh Answer, how about this, right? We've given enough attention to this, and then what you can do out there in Lions Den land, you can do your own research and all that. We've given you enough, groundwork to go and check it out for yourself. I want to move on, Seventh Answer. And if you can find the videos, I put them in order. As a matter of fact, there are two videos that should be first on the lineup I give you concerning. We want to move now to Rania Lewis. All right, she was a young 28-year-old young woman out of California. She was found, unfortunately, brutally murdered. Okay, in Vallejo, California. All right, by Douglas Irwin Shaw. All right, there are a lot of people here. They want to make mean and rude commentary about the decedent Miss Lewis, but I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to put any kind of, how you say, mean-spirited outlooks on this child, and her very inglorious, demise. All right. Apparently or allegedly, she was into, the vice, into a particular vice, and she went to Douglas Irwin Shaw's place of residence, I guess, as one of her potential clients, and unfortunately, he turned out to be a vicious, evil, ruthless demon who took it upon himself to not only brutally murder her, Miss Lewis, he then dismembered her. Sort of like this, no, not sort of, in the same, and put her body behind a wall. Her family, in their relentless search for her, was subjected to a lot of cruel pranks and calls, and there are a lot of people still making very disrespectful and disparaging remarks about Miss Lewis. Oh, she was a sex worker. But look, here's my thing. I don't care what she was. All right? If she was out there, so to speak, then she was our wayward daughter that needed to be corrected, checked, and what have you. But that don't mean that this demon, this this whatever, this animal, this thug. Yeah, this animal, this thug, had the right to kill her in the manner he did. And I'm gonna say this here, and I'm gonna jump all the way out there, and I'm gonna say this here. I don't think this is the first time he's done this. Sure, there are some people who are on edge and they, be teetering on fantasizing about homicidal tendencies or actions. But the fact that this Irwin Shaw fellow dismembered this child, Rania Lewis, and then put her and confined her dismembered body behind a wall like it was nothing. That is not just something that you just do. He's done this before. Okay? And I want you all out there now. This is a cautionary tale for all my young folks out there listening, male or female. And if you may be in that OnlyFans lifestyle and in the city girl lifestyle, and embracing that, public figure profession. All right. Let this be a cautionary tale. All right. Of who you keep company with and what you do. All money is not good money. And there's no need to go putting yourself at risk. And then here it is now, your family is left. Her family is now left to pick up. Let me rephrase. I'm gonna have to use another term. Left to pick up her memory. All right, they have to live with the pain that this child spent her last hours fighting for her life and losing. Walking into a death trap, unfortunately trying to obtain money in an unfortunate way. All right? But unlike other people, I'm not going to sit up here and make cruel remarks and be all mean-spirited. Because the way I look at it, our leadership failed Rania Lewis and so many others. You may say, what do you mean by that, Malachi? Hear what I mean. Had we had our own economy, and if we were doing what we were supposed to have done from the 60s on up, or even before that, having our own economy, having our own ways and means of living, we wouldn't have our children, male or female, out here doing and living lifestyles that are extremely dangerous and extremely costly. I just want to put that out there. And seventh dance, if you're still with me and everything else, and I know you are, if you have the first video on Miss Rania Lewis, I want to cue it up. Let's have a nice discussion about this and everything else. And again, we appreciate you, all our night owls, riding with us. Because again, like I said, this Rania Lewis case takes me back to what happened to 19-year-old Sade Robinson, who went out on a date, apparently her last date, with a Neanderthal, and he took her to his home. She went to his home. And he killed Sade Robinson, and then chopped her up into pieces. Let me be careful with my word. I want to make sure I'm sensitive. He dismembered the child and spread her remains out on a beach. What I'm looking at is this here, y'all. There's obviously a war, okay, by certain segments of America on black folk. These killings of black women by white men, all right, cannot be. I am not going to ignore it. It can't be ignored. This is not an isolated incident. The fact that at last count, over 75,000 black women are missing in this country. We have to take under careful consideration, this is not by accident, but by deliberate grand design. The fact that out in Houston, Texas, there is a believed serial killer who, and thus far, 15 victims, black women, the majority being black women, have been found in a particular area of a bayou in Texas, shows you that there's something really, really dark and sinister transpiring. Okay? And what we want you to do is we all need to be very careful how we walk, how we talk, what company we keep. You go to parties or whatever, I wouldn't advise you drinking unless you're making the drink yourself. If you have children, if you're parents, man, keep your children at home. Don't let them go. Don't go. If they gotta go out, no, let it be. You be sure about who your children are keeping company with. Also, be very vigilant in your children's lives. I'm sure her mother and all her family, some of them are taken aback by the secret, perhaps secret lifestyle that Renea Lewis was living. But again, it don't mean that she deserved to be brutalized and chopped and dismembered like that. Okay? There may be some, now you may have some say, well, look, brother, the Most High put her to death. Look, no death happened unless he does. But, then when I hear that, sometimes I get confused because I thought the Lord said, don't murder, thou shalt not murder. And that he's not for anyone being murdered. So sometimes we have to be careful what we say in regards to the Bible and to the Lord and what have you also. Just a thought is just a thought. Some of you may not agree with what I'm saying, but I'm just feeling some kind of way about other people with their opinion trying to basically justify, point blank, justify Douglas Irwin Shaw murdering Renea Lewis, and I'm not having it. That I can't abide by that. All right. So let me see. All right, we're moving on. 80% of Venezuela live off government aid because the American government destroyed their way of life. Cooking with Billy, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, I know you're still talking about, I know I moved on, but I'm going to agree with that comment about the fact that most of these illegal immigrants are here in this country because America did, on the low, destabilize their countries. Okay, I won't argue that. All right, so let's move on. And I'm not talking about Renea Lewis, the Renea Lewis case in Vallejo, California. And we're now going to pull up some videos. Okay, this is a case by case. And with that, without further ado, let's run it. Fair use, y'all. Fair use.
On the cusp of her 29th birthday, Renea Lewis was described by those closest to her as the kind of person whose presence filled a room. Friends and family painted a picture of a warm for work and family, and who had plans and people who loved her. The small details reported about her life, the quick messages to loved ones, the places she liked to go, the people who the ordinary things that, when they stopped, set off alarm bells. The last confirmed time friends and family to relatives and police statements was late on a Friday, when routine messages and calls went unanswered. Her family's concern deepened. Renia Lewis was described by those closest to her as the kind of person whose presence filled a room. Friends and family painted a picture ambassador who traveled for work and family, and who had plans and people who loved her. The small details reported about her life, the quick messages to loved ones through days, are what made the loss so specific and painful for those who knew her. Relatives spoke of Renia's laugh, the calls home, and the way she checked in, the ordinary things that, when they stopped, set off alarm bells. The last confirmed time friends and family had contact with Renia, according to relatives and police statements, was late on a Friday, when routine messages and calls went unanswered. Her family's concern deepened. They used the tools many families now rely on, location sharing and phone pings, and that technology led them to an unfamiliar Vallejo address. Confronted with silence from Renia and strange messages and requests that started to arrive on her mother's phone, the family's worry turned into a search that would last days. The family's persistent hands-on, searching, driving to locations, scanning the neighborhood, calling motels, checking rooftops became the thread that joined. Frantic hope to the grim confirmation that followed when police officers first went to the 14th Street, addressed in Vallejo, the property at the center of the investigation they carried out. Department described as a welfare check, a cursory sweep of rooms, closets, and places a person could hide. According to police, that initial search turned up no sign of Renia. The family continued to press, meanwhile describing suspicious messages and a Cash App request they believed was not from Renia, and saying they had found her phone on the roof of a nearby school. Those details pushed investigators to dig deeper. The California Highway Patrol approved an Ebony alert, and the FBI lent technical assistance to ping data and analyze digital leads, acting on new investigative information. Detectives obtained a warrant and returned to the property for a thorough forensic search. It was during that warrant search that investigators discovered a concealed entry to an attic in a detached unit, and inside, the remains authorities later identified as Renia Lewis. Police statements say they found the remains during that second, more extensive search. Family accounts and local reporting added the wrenching detail that the remains had been hidden behind a wall. Because the investigation is active, the Vallejo Police Department has not published every forensic finding. And some family quotes that circulated in local coverage describe the condition of the remains in graphic terms. Police officials have declined to confirm those specific details publicly. Within hours of the search warrant discovery, investigators identified and took into custody a Vallejo resident, 41-year-old Douglas Irwin Shaw. Officers arrested Shaw at his place of work and booked him into the Solano County Jail on suspicion of murder. Vallejo police said in a press release that after his arrest, Shaw told detectives he was responsible for the crime. Local authorities have described the discovery and the arrest as the result of lengthy, coordinated investigative work, including both in-person canvassing by family and police and technical support from state and federal partners. The booking status and early reports described Shaw as cooperative at the time of arrest and being held without bail pending arraignment. Media outlets have followed up with reporting about initial
tragic discovery in the city of Vallejo. Police confirming the body of a missing woman has been found hidden inside the wall of a home. And tonight, a suspect has been taken into custody. Her disappearance triggered an Ebony alert issued by CHP, and now her loved ones are grappling with the devastating news. Betty Yu has the story.
What did she do to you for you to kill her and then put her in a wall? When he said found to be her. And he did not answer my prayer.
It was the news.
Okay, look, we're having some technical difficulties, but I think you all get the gist of the video. All right. I felt so very bad for the
In
mother.
Vallejo. Her mother last texted her on Friday and thought it was unusual not to get a response.
When they found her body, behind the wall.
It's still unclear what his relationship to Renia or to the home.
He threw her phone on top of the school. That's the motion.
He's now phone. Track her final location. Family search in the area.
Nia was the best loving person. The girl loved to cook. She loved her family.
Since they began sharing flyers with her mother's number, the family has received numerous prank calls. People pretending to be Renia, luring her mother to false addresses and demanding money.
I am devastated. That's my youngest daughter. Her birthday is on Monday. She would have been 29.
Court scheduling. Neighbors, investigators, and family members described the yard and the outbuilding, where the remains were found, as cluttered in a way that could obscure a hidden compartment. Police said the detached unit had a concealed attic area that was not obvious on a routine sweep. Family members said they had tracked Renia's phone to the block, then discovered the device on the roof of the school next to the property, a detail that frustrated relatives who felt the first cursory search should have turned up more. It was that combination of family detective work, modern location tools, and a renewed court-authorized search that led to the tragic find. The Vallejo Police Department publicly thanked detectives and partners for the arrest, while also stressing the investigation was ongoing and that they were not releasing all investigative details. Public officials moved quickly to use the tools available to them. Police requested and were granted a statewide ebony alert and requested assistance from the FBI. The involvement of multiple agencies is common in missing person cases that cross jurisdictional or technical thresholds. Local patrol and detective squads ask for help with phone pings, specialized forensics, and additional personnel when lines of inquiry broaden. That cooperative posture is what the department cited when announcing the subsequent search warrant and arrests. The case required a mix of door-to-door interviews, digital work, and physical forensic processing at the scene. For the family, the interagency response offered both relief and more questions. For the community, the Ebony Alert signaled an escalation, a recognition that the case had moved from concern to a fully resourced investigation. Family members gathered at the Tapetoff property as crews worked. In the hours and days after the discovery, friends, cousins, and co-workers came to leave flowers and candles. The grief was immediate and public. In interviews and local reporting, relatives described the small acts they always expected Renia to carry out: text check-in, little plans for birthdays, and the strange, out-of-character silence that birthed the search. One cousin is quoted saying the family had been searching for Renia and could not believe she was literally inside a secret wall on the very block they had been scouring. The visceral shock, disbelief, and the community's very human response, flowers, vigil, astonishment, are what local reporting documented most thoroughly in the days after officers announced the discovery. As the initial facts came into focus: missing person report, warrant search, discovery. Arrest. Local reporters and readers wanted to know the connection between Renia and her alleged killer. Authorities have not established in public statements a long-standing relationship between Renia and Douglas Shaw. Some family members told reporters the two may have recently met. Others said they did not know each other well. KTVU reported that an ex-girlfriend of Shaw had previously obtained a restraining order against him in 2023 citing troubling behavior. Local outlets also reported that Shaw subleased the detached shed where he lived, which sat behind the main house where the concealed entry was found. Courts and police records cited in reporting show arrest and booking, but have not, as of the most recent reporting, been supplemented by a public inventory of prior felony convictions or a full criminal history in the sources reviewed. The publicly available narrative is therefore a mix of confirmed investigative milestones and family recollection, with certain details, motive, prior violent history beyond the restraining order account, and certain forensic findings left to ongoing work and official releases. One of the more painful elements, and one that pushed family members to keep searching, was the stream of odd communications the mother described. After Renia stopped replying, relatives reported receiving texts that appeared to come from Renia, but felt off in tone and content. At least one stranger, according to family accounts, sent a Cash App request asking Renia's mother for money to fix a phone. The mother drove to a motel after being told Renia might be there. The motel clerk told her they had never seen Renia. The family then used location sharing to find the phone itself and discovered it on the roof of the school next to the property. Those breadcrumbs, odd messages, a phone on a rooftop, a house that looked like it might be squatted in, are the kind of connective tissue that moved investigators from a cursory sweep to a targeted warrant. News organizations noted the family's insistence and their role in keeping the search alive. Multiple outlets quoted relatives who said that without the families on the ground, search the concealed
Reported missing Friday. A missing persons flyer remains taped on the light pole across the street from the home where the 28-year-old was found dead. Family and friends spent days searching this area.
Being on the side of the freeway, behind the school, by the house, if we didn't care for her. Yeah. She was very loved.
Police say they did a welfare check at the home Sunday and searched all rooms and closets, but found nothing. On Monday, the California Highway Patrol activated an Ebony Alert, and the FBI also provided resources for the case. Investigators served a search warrant at the house Tuesday.
Went back to the house with the search warrant. They discovered there was a concealed department that led to the attic, and in the attic, we discovered Miss Lewis.
For Renia's family. Every day between her disappearance and the discovery of her remains represented trauma compounded by uncertainty. Her mother and siblings told reporters about the waiting, the fear, and the hope. Small threads of hope that someone had seen her, that she would answer a phone, that she was alive somewhere. Those details form the emotional backbone of what makes the case resonate for audiences. It is not just a crime scene. It is a sequence of human anticipation, worry, and heartbreak. The arrival of detectives, the official searches, and the eventual discovery of her remains marked a moment of grief confirmed by facts. But the family still faced unanswered questions about why and how this tragedy occurred. The Vallejo Police Department publicly thanked the public, family, and federal partners for assistance in both tracking digital leads and securing warrants. The agency emphasized that while the discovery led to an arrest, the investigation would continue to ensure a full understanding of circumstances, motive, and any additional risks to the community. At press conferences, officers spoke about the importance of family persistence in missing person cases, the challenges of investigating concealed spaces, and the coordination required across multiple jurisdictions. Reporting highlighted both the procedural achievements and the tragic human loss represented.
This is a senseless act of violence that has brought not only tremendous pain to the family, but to our community.
41-year-old Douglas Shaw looked disheveled as he made his first court appearance today. He's charged with one count of felony murder. Prosecutors say he used a knife in the brutal killing. Renia's mother tells NBC Bay Area that police told her Renia's body was found dismembered in Shaw's attic, where it was likely kept for days.
My hope for him is that he get the death penalty.
The pain of facing the alleged killer in court today was nearly too much for many of Renia's loved ones. They tell us Renia was set to turn 29 on Monday and had so much ahead of her.
Renia, we love you. You know that. You know the heart of your family. You know the blood of this Lewis family would have never stopped looking for you. And one thing is, you will definitely be missed, and it hurts. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Shaw, a father of two, will be back in court next week, where he's expected to enter a plea.
Informed that my deepest condolences go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of Renia Lewis. No one should ever have to endure this kind of loss, and I hope her story serves as both a remembrance of her life and a call for justice, awareness, and compassion in the face of tragedy. Thank you for watching. If you found this coverage meaningful, please subscribe and turn on post notifications.
I mean, look at that damn dust bag. I mean, okay, look, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. What the hell does she see in him? Look at it. Okay, let me contain myself, because Karima, I want you to draw up this. It's a short video concerning Sade Robinson, because looking at this Erwin Shaw dude and the dude who killed Sade Robinson, they dust bags. I don't get. Okay, for some of my sisters out there, black women, when you're doing your swirling, I don't get it. This is where I have to say, you know, y'all, some of you swirling sisters, you get black, when it comes to black men, we got to have a litmus. We have to be over 6 feet, absolutely fit, make 6 figures or better, and all these other parameters y'all set forth. But when it comes to some white dude that y'all started, he is the antithesis of everything y'all talk about y'all wanting black men. Looking like, they be looking like 12 miles of bad road, straight dust bags. But y'all get with them. I mean, I look at Serena Williams, the dude she married. I don't care how much money he has. He's a dust bag. And that's who she got with. But I'm just saying, look, in this case, this young lady, Renia Lewis, was in over her head. Clearly. And I'm just gonna say, this dude, this is not the first time he's done this. I'm telling you. This is not the first time he's done it. And of course, Tyrone, you're here in the house, but you're coming with black on black crime. And that is not what we're talking about right about now. Okay? Albeit, I will look up this case of Aiden Reno. But welcome, Big Mississippi, as always. You gotta come with being the oddball. But we're used to it by now. But my point is, come on, man. She couldn't see what he was. She couldn't see. He looked like a dust bag. Whew. Anyway, Renia Lewis, this is a cautionary tale. And like I said, I'm not here to put her down, but we have to get a stronger hold on our children, Lions Den Land. We really do. When Karima finds it should be about the 4th video, Karima, a 3rd video. I want you to take a real good look at Sade Robinson, her killer. Okay? And I don't get what the heck some of these young black women are older. What are y'all looking at? Seriously. Granted, being murdered or whatever. It should not have an aesthetic, but the lack of standards that sisters give towards men outside of black men is astounding. I'm a man and I wouldn't go nowhere with that dude looking, what? Seriously? So, yeah. This is what happens, unfortunately, when you're not using proper discretion. What troubles me, however, this is one of our daughters, one of our children that we've lost. And now this is why I fight so fervently and so feverishly, trying to make a difference, trying to make a way where our babies don't have to resort to unsavory ways and means to get money. Like the old adage goes, not all money is good money. Okay? But this is a very serious, we're living in some very serious dark times, but I'm not gonna bite my tongue and say, I see clear cut. There's an overt and covert war going on against our people. And this outbreak of white men murdering black women. And the fact that 75,000, again, at last count, 75,000 black women are missing in this country speaks volumes on where we're at in this world and what we need to be paying attention to around us. I mean, it is 2025. We're living in the age of information. This should not be going on. And again, I feel sorry for her family because again, they're gonna have to deal with all the cruel remarks, all the disrespect that's coming their way in regards to this Miss Lewis's alleged lifestyle. Let me see who's talking. Okay, Brother Tyrone, we've had discussions on previous Lions Den, this conversations about indeed the underbelly of our people and what we're doing to each other. We've had that discussion, but that should I don't think that when we're addressing outside outside interlopers incorporating themselves into what we're trying to solve internally should be ignored, and nor should the fallback be Big Mississippi that what about black on black? I get so tired of that being used whenever we look at the incredible amount of violence that white people are putting upon our people. Again, this child, Rania Lewis, Sade Robinson, then you had another case out of Omaha where you had Cynthia Bryant was killed by a white date or a white man she befriended, and he cut her up into pieces as well. That seems to be their modus operandi. Cutting and dismembering. Okay? But that's not the issue that we're talking about here, Brother Tyrone. But we have addressed that issue. Black men and women, how we do each other, and we had that, but that's not the discussion tonight. All right? And what we shouldn't do is try to deflect from a very serious issue. Again, 75,000 black women estimated by the FBI and CIA are missing in this country. We've had a spate now in the last 4 weeks now, whole month of back-to-back criminality involving white men going blitzkrieg, and that's right after Charlie Kirk, he got assassinated, but he and Turning Point USA and other institutions, Brother Tyrone, want to tell us that we make up 13% of this country, but we commit the majority of the crimes, which Seventh Answer, we went mob deep in acquiring all types of pieces of information to prove that to be a bold-faced lie. I understand that you will come in here and you will be, the opposing voice or whatever. That's your niche. You've been doing that for a while. And right now I'm in a mood where I can be cool, calm, and collected. But come on, brother. Really? Really? Is there ever a time you're going to agree with anything that we present when it's undisputed or indisputable? Like I said, it's not like we are attacking anyone because of their so-called skin color, but we're looking at the action, the deeds, and again, the consistent, non-stop, week after week, day after day, that this has been going on. All right? And Seventh Answer, are you able to find that video concerning Saudi Robinson? If not, we can move on. But all I'm saying is, listen, you all, for all you parents out there, I don't care how old your children are, monitor your babies, man. Stay on top of, especially if they're young, because here you had Saudi Robinson, 19 years old, on a date with a man who's about 35 or more years old, and she had no business being out with that man. If you want to give him that. In Shawty Robinson's case, her people failed her miserably. We're talking about a 19-year-old with a 30-some-odd or more year old man. There'll be some people who will say, well, age is nothing but a number, but that's not true. See, with age comes supposedly life experience, learning experiences, how to supposedly, with age comes your ability to cope, be responsible, how you handle your day-to-day business and life overall. And I, for one, don't see where a 30 or 40-year-old man has any kind of connection with a 19-year-old. I don't see where a woman in the same age, 35, 40 years old, dealing with a 19-year-old or a young man. I don't see the logic in that. Where's the compatibility when there is none? All right? So, look, man, it's all in how you do things. It's all in how we handle our affairs. Now, let me see who's talking. If anyone else is talking out here. Okay, you saw what happened to Miriam and Aaron for trying to pick for others. Tyrone, you said two men got into an argument about a woman. Clay County Coroner Alvin Carter Jr. identified the victim as Joshua Ross, 40, Police arrested and charged Dennis Roberson, 45, with murder. Okay, you're bringing these cases in for what, Tyrone? Like I said, we do our balance here and all that, and I will engage you. But this has nothing to do with, again, outside forces giving their contributions to the issues we're trying to handle internally. All right? So, let me see. I guess not. All right. We're almost at the 3-hour mark. And seventh answer, let me see. There's one more video. Like I said, I hope you can find that. I really want to do a compare. Just pull a rabbit out the hat on that Shawty Robinson case, because I just want to have people take a good look at the man, if you want to give him that killed her. Like, what did she see in this brushy bill, dusty dustbag PWT? I don't get it with some of you swirlers out here, black male and female. Here you got some brothers. You want to talk about how black women are the pits, and they not and they don't know how to treat a man, and they too mouthy. And you go out here and get, as Damon Wayans said many years ago, you brothers go out here and get with white women that white men don't want. Okay? And for you sisters out here, y'all do the same thing. Y'all get out here with white men that white women don't want. White women don't feel safe. Look at what the news report said about this Irwin Shaw dude, that his children's mother and another girlfriend had restraining orders against him. So here we go. Take a good look at this video that the seventh answer brought up. I want y'all to take a real good look. Go ahead, Karima. Go ahead, run it.
The disturbing details surrounding Sade's disappearance and subsequent murder continued to unfold as phone records obtained by a concerned friend and her mother shed light on the events of that fateful night. Through a location-sharing app, the records traced Sade's phone movements from the seafood restaurant to a nearby sports bar, then to the residence of her date, Anderson, and ultimately to the desolate park where her remains were tragically discovered. The Milwaukee County Courthouse Criminal Justice Facility served as the backdrop for Anderson's preliminary hearing, where the weight of the accusations against him hung heavy in the air.
Okay,
Despite the passage of over 3 agonizing weeks since Sade's...
Look at this nigga. I mean, okay, I'm losing it. Look at this dude. You can see he looked like Michael Myers without his mask on. What did she see in this brushy built, dusty looking dude? Look. I'm just saying. Look at him, you all, and you all saw the killer of Rania Lewis. They both look like they just like the meth brigade. Freaking Dusties. He looks like he too. This ain't the first time. I'm sure Sade Robinson is not his first victim. And for some of you sisters out here watching this show, you might be a swirler. This is what you like? Really? Really? Look, I'ma just say it like this here, man. We as a people have to do better. We gotta do better. You can drop the video, Karima. I just want everybody to just take a real good look at the killer of Sade Robinson. And I urge you to go out here and look up all these other murders of black women by their white lovers. This is deliberate, y'all. Understand, there's an overt and covert war against us. And you got black men out here being killed by their white women lovers. Don't get it twisted. So, look, we come up on 3 hours, right? I know some of you out there in the workforce, you got to go to work and everything. So I think the seventh answer and myself, we've given you more than enough material. Like, it's so much to talk about. So we're going to bring it to an end. Because, in my neck of the woods, it's late anyway. So this has been another high-powered, dynamic, social media experience you've had the pleasure of riding with. And as we now come into a landing on runway 11, we want you out there in Lions Den land to study for yourself, check things out for yourself, replay this video, share it with friends, all you who are parents out here of teenage children, male and female, or I don't care if they're in their early or mid-20s, regulate and be on top of where your babies are and who they're keeping company with. Okay? Let's keep an eye out on this government, because a lot is about to go down in the not so distant future, and it's up to us now to be vigilant and be sober, because as the Bible said, the devil out here like a roaring lion looking to destroy. So with that being said, you now understand that when you come into the lion's den, we're going to hit you with the 7 eyes. We're going to give you the facts. We're going to give you out there our pride, because we're permanently ready and destroying all forms of evil. And whether you like it or not, or believe it or not, or you want to deal, the lion's den, we keep it all the way live and all the way real. And so, we give our honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. I want to thank you out there in the chat. From Tyrone. Okay, Tyrone, you said this has nothing to do with race. Brother Tyrone, how about this? On my next whole meeting, me and you we're gonna converse. I'm gonna come back and we're gonna deal. But Tyrone, Hakwadash,
I'm gonna
Hadash
play this video real quick about that apartment, and then we close out after that.
Okay, well, seventh answer, by all means, I'm still here. Go to work. All right? But Tyrone, brother, everything has to do with race. At all times. All right? And like I said, I understand all the issues we have among our own and what we have to solve. But again, you're bringing in the fact of the whole black on black thing, which has nothing to do with, again, I'm going to keep repeating it. People from outside of our race wanting to bring their contribution to killing us. We don't need that. We don't need no outside contributions, Tyrone. Like, for instance, here it is. You have white folks crashing out, going berserk, and everything else on each other. Now, I'm sure a faction of America, white America, would not appreciate me if I were to gain access to an AR-15 or some other machine gun. And let's say I go into a white church or restaurant and spray the place out and air it out. Because Hey, you white folks are killing each other like it's going out of style. So why shouldn't I add my 2 cents? Now come on, man. I'll be under the jail, a death penalty to the fullest. You see where I'm going with that, brother Tyrone? Like I said, we don't need Negroes do worse than whites. No, no, Ty. I disagree with you on that. We don't go around dismembering and chopping each other up into millions of pieces. In this last month, Tyrone, back to back, white men crashing out. Come on, man. You're gonna act like you don't see that? I get it. That's fine. I know you have white relatives, so on and so forth. I get it. It's only the human race. If only that were so. Okay. Karima, play the video on.
You know, sometimes the news stories that make the least sense on the surface start to make perfect sense once you follow the money. Let's take Chicago's South Shore apartment raid, right? 37 arrests, broken doors, terrified families, and what looks like a whole lot of damage control disguised as law enforcement. See, the building at 7500 South Shore Drive didn't belong to some cartel or gang. It's owned by a Wisconsin investor named Trinity Flood, who bought the property along with 2 others on Clyde and Chapel back in 2020 for about $18 million. Since then, the portfolio's fallen apart, right? Tenants have reported dark stairwells, broken elevators, gas leaks, missing fire extinguishers, the kind of thing that scream neglect, not management. So instead of suing her LLC over life safety violations, utilities went unpaid, and by mid-2025, Wells Fargo had filed a $27 million foreclosure against the properties, calling the buildings unsecured and saying management had lost control. Then, 2 weeks after city inspectors visited the property, the Fed showed up. ICE, Border Patrol, ATF, FBI, helicopters, flashbangs, doors blown off their hinges, residents, including U.S. citizens, dragged from beds, some reportedly unclothed, right? 37 people were arrested. Federal officials called it a gang operation targeting Venezuelan migrants. But what's interesting isn't just who was arrested, it's what happened next. See, within 48 hours of that raid, movers were already on site clearing out apartments. A judge, meanwhile, was weighing whether to hand control of the building to a court-appointed receiver. See, the motion came from Wells Fargo, the same bank suing the owner. In other words, the building was collapsing financially. Then the raid happened, and the timing couldn't have been better for the people trying to take possession. See, now no one's saying the raid was planned to help anyone, right? But facts matter, and the facts line up in a way that raises real questions. Because sometimes it's not about who got arrested, it's about who benefited. And in this case, the destruction of property deep in foreclosure may have made one thing a whole lot easier, turning over control to someone else. So if you follow the timeline, you follow the filings, and you remember when power, property, and law enforcement line up perfectly, it's usually not by accident.
Okay, wow.
Stories that make the least sense on the surface.
Wow. Okay. My. Now, ain't that something? Everything's connected. So, like I said, this has been another episode of what's of the conversation continues, talking about what's on your mind, and we assure you that the conversation will continue. Tyrone, I'm going to say this to you. You said Charlie Kirk was right. Well, how about this, Tyrone? If Charlie Kirk was so right, how come he didn't have the clairvoyance to see that among his own people, white on white violence would take him out? I'm just saying. So with that being said, thank you, Tyrone, Asiatic 777. I thank you, Salaya Ben Yah, Cooking with Billy, and all y'all out here in the chat section, Hashua Amaral, and everybody else who gave their contribution tonight. You know, it's always a pleasure. And on behalf of the Seventh Answer, Lady Karima and myself, Brother Malachi, Big Baby Hebrew, again, we give honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. Stay tuned, stay alert, because again, it's always your spiritual, intellectual, and emotional responsibility to make sure that whatever you hear and see is actually what it is. And with that being said, we close out, as always, in the spirit of our departed Don Cornelius on the Hebrew tip by saying, Shalom, peace, Ahab, love, and the Posh. Maintain and protect your soul. And we are up out of here, y'all.
I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because he helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho. Yes.
It's the old
He helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped get off the island.
Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to the children? Why you lying to the children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been to bed. Man, they know contest. Yahuwah, he do the bless. We will not see you tomorrow. Cause you cannot go to thought. All the sons and all the daughters. Standing hard with big manodas. But my son, he made me Taurus. On that line, I'm still a Taurus. Karate kicking Chuck Norris, 4-5 on my waist. If he started, will not hesitate to get retarded. Oh lordy, he ain't got a PowerPoint, he farted. He running into the hills like a Philistine. G-Hawk hitting Hamites with the guillotine. Situation turned up with the Ratchet team. JJ 7000 to the debate league. I know them haters gon' hate me, but he won't debate me. Pistol off safety. He respond, come wake me. If I don't get up, nigga shake me. If he don't show up, then he fake G. I touch down and make these nigga nuts hate me. Dear brother, ballin' and crawling all the way from H-Time. Let me get straight to the business. Man, them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? You gon' cry, you gon' get it. Me, I'm like a frog, nigga, ribbit. Of course, it's in the spirit. I just got the Porsche, she can steer it. Mito got the raw, Shaq and Willie. Lamborghini doors, you better not spill it. Mama's high, say I'm more than just a villain. Mama's cry, I'm dope and wide for her children. Suicide, immortalized as the realest, yeah.